All right, Jake, thanks for coming on. Been meaning to have you come on for a while. Jake is actually family, married to my wife's cousin. Jake is the head coach of Marquette Lacrosse, large family, and something unique about Jake that I think anybody that's been around him will say or agree to is he has an infectious leadership and somebody that we all want to emulate.
That's way too nice.
No,
that's crazy.
Working out with you, hanging out with you, seeing how you treat people, even when you're not around, people talk about it. Like everyone just wants to have you around, and I can see why you're such a good leader at Marquette as a head coach, as a team player. Let's get into family first. Let's talk about family. So I've got 5 kids. You're one of 7. Let's talk about that a little bit. What was that like growing up?
Well, first of all, that was way too nice. Thanks for having me on. I'm pumped. You are a visionary and a go-getter, and so I'm not surprised to be sitting in this studio that you put together, and really excited to be on your podcast. Yeah, my family is awesome. I grew up in a town called Westchester, outside Philadelphia. Proud Eagles fan, diehard.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. Both my parents were teachers, 5 boys, 2 girls, and I think the most impactful thing about my family was my oldest brother had cerebral palsy, and so my parents were 23 when they had him, low-income family, and they just filled the house with love, and everything we did was around him. I think it was just a total gift to be given that perspective, and Christopher's life was so powerful to witness, and not only that, but to see my parents serve him while also making each of us feel special and loved was amazing. And so my upbringing has everything to do with how I view the world today, and I'm so grateful for it and super proud of it, and proud of my parents for the family that they built. And yeah, don't get back to the East Coast nearly as much as I would like, but proud to be in the Midwest. Love it here in Milwaukee's where I'm from and now, and looking forward to building a family there.
That's probably a big reason why you are who you are. Your personality, how you treat people, that obviously has had a big part of your life. Because seeing the way you treat people it's not normal. Like I said, everyone wants to be around you. Everyone enjoys being around you. I've probably heard you say one bad thing about one person.
That cannot be true. Ask any of Nikki's sisters. I use a lot of sarcasm, and they don't appreciate it.
So, we have a little bit to relate to. We were both QB1s in high school, back to the glory days.
Dude, don't forget it. Yeah, that's right.
Did you play lacrosse in high school all 4 years? You're on the East Coast, so lacrosse is much bigger than here in the Midwest, and it didn't become a thing till I think a few years ago. Talk about your experience out there on the East Coast.
Yeah, my sports journey was like a lot of kids. I just kind of played everything, and lacrosse was pretty popular in our area. And as soon as baseball started getting pretty serious, all-star games, they like travel teams with my brother and my family. My parents were just like, you're not playing on these all-star teams, like you're not going for these things, and so that started to lose steam when you're only playing in the town league, and then the season just stops. And the football coaches at my school, St. Agnes, were also involved with the town's lacrosse league, and they saw my athleticism and they thought I should try out lacrosse, and so I picked it up. 7th grade is when I started. But I didn't play any travel or club ball till sophomore year of high school, and so I would pick up the stick when the season started, and then drop it when the season was over, and move on to the next sport. And really, football was the sport I loved the most. Like you mentioned, QB1 in high school. I'm so washed up and pathetic now, but I love football, and I love basketball, and my dad coached me in track all growing up, so I ran some track at the high school too. So lacrosse was just something I did that was a ton of fun, and I knew I believed I could be great at it, but nobody necessarily shared that with me. the schools in my area. There's the Malvern Prep, Episcopal Academy, Haverford, all these fancy prep schools. And I was just at the local public school, and a great school, one that I loved. But I wasn't getting recruited because I wasn't visible. I didn't play on these high-end clubs. Didn't go to these prep schools and play in front of college coaches. And so I really just but I knew I wanted to be great at something, whether it was football, lacrosse. I wanted somebody to come in and tell me that they believed in me the way I believed in myself, and help paint a vision for me and find out what I could do with this thing, because I felt like I had a lot of untapped potential, and I was chasing this thing the best way I could, but I didn't have any trainers or just doing my best in the yard with my family, my brothers, and like playing pickup ball. So I never lost any love for any sports, because there was never any pressure behind it, just playing it for the team.
What was the turning point from football into lacrosse? We talked about recruiting. What was the recruiting process like for football, and then what was it like for lacrosse, and why did you ultimately choose lacrosse? So where did you start with football recruiting?
Yeah, so
what schools were you talking to?
For football, the schools that I ended up talking to and visiting were all in the same pocket, 1AA ball, so Ivy Leagues and Patriot League schools. And the football process for recruiting, is much more established. Mm-hmm. The high schools get college coaches coming by all the time, and your high school coach has relationships with all of the local college coaches. And so those conversations were always going on, and you'd go to like a one-day quarterback camp with your coaches as like a 7-on-7 camp. So I was just naturally in that process more because I was on the football team at my school. So it was 1AA action, and I really wanted to play at the top of a sport. And my club lacrosse coach had played Division I lacrosse, and he said, "You're going to be a D-midi," which is basically a cornerback in lacrosse. You're getting attacked all the time in space, and it's a position for athletes, which I was, but I think he was also telling me I wasn't too good at lacrosse. So, I challenged him a little bit. What do you mean? Like, I'm nasty. I can shoot and I can dodge. Like, nobody can cover me. And he's like, "Trust me, you're going to be D-midi," which is an honor for the record. But eventually, I started to realize that this one single A dream isn't going to work out, and for football. And I wanted to try to be the best at something. And I was, really hungry and trying to define what I was feeling. It was always a process. Talking about it in hindsight's much easier. But I wanted to be the best at something, or have an opportunity to chase it and prove it. So Coach Amplo, who was starting the program at Marquette, when he first called me, I wasn't even sure where it was. But what he said is, "You come play for me, I'll make you an All-American." And at that point, like, nobody had really breathed any fire into my chest like that. Like, you can actually be something great at this. And so when he said that, and my dad and I went out to Milwaukee to visit, it just kind of really felt like it was somewhere where I could make it my own and be my best and chase my best. And so it was destiny in a lot of ways. I told you some of the ways my mom vetted some schools away, but really grateful that it all worked out that way. And Marquette's been a really special place to me.
Geographically speaking, did you know where Marquette was when he called you?
No, I had no idea. Quickly, I know Marquette was the school with the cool basketball uniforms. I knew Dwayne Wade had gone there. But outside of that, I wasn't sure. I was familiar with the Big East because Villanova was big in the area. But quickly I learned to appreciate all of the things that made Marquette a special place. And my brother found the same home there, and it allowed both of us to be great. I would like to say, going back though, I think one of the early lessons I've learned from my mom is like how powerful words of affirmation are. And she would tell me how much she believes in me. Like, so she was really the first one that told me I could do anything, and just believed the world of me. And so just knowing that, I think, helped me build a really strong self-image. And so I had that confidence from her, and Coach Ample came in, and it was kind of right in line with what I was hoping to hear from somebody and believed that I was capable of. And so it kind of started with her my whole life, yearning for that opportunity. And Coach Ample is an incredible motivator. He's the head coach of the Naval Academy now. He kind of just fit that like hunger so well.
And that shows. I mean, when we've been around, my fat ass is working out with you. You never make fun of me. You're always giving me some positive. You're always giving me some positive feedback. I'm like, this guy could say some really bad things right now, and he's being positive. So I think that shows a lot about your character and where you got it from, and that's really cool. Maybe you don't notice it, but I think a lot of other people do. No. So the affirmations, I agree with.
I appreciate it.
It shows a lot in your personality. So you go to Marquette. You choose Marquette. Senior in high school, you pack your bags and you say, see you later. What happened day one?
Man,
and you chose lacrosse over football. Let's stop there for a second. How, I don't want to say disappointed, how heartbroken were you when you realized you were done playing football?
That was tough. It was a tough transition because I was, like we talked about, it's crazy. It's coming up 3 times. I'm a quarterback, I was cool. And now I'm playing the position that everybody like makes fun of in lacrosse. And so you go from being like the man to now you're getting picked on in the locker room. That was a big transition.
No offense, but you're the punter kicker.
Like literally, well, cornerback, like I said. But there's like a skill joke behind it. Like DBs can't catch.
Right.
That's why they don't play wide receiver. Well, I can't shoot. That's why I play D-mid. So, and also, so many people in my town had been involved in my life around football, and they were certainly excited to follow my career and see what I could do in that sport as well. And lacrosse was a pivot for sure. But I was excited because I had not put any time into it really outside of competing on a club team in the summer from time to time and trying to win on my high school and do our best for our town and our school. I hadn't like spent much time with my stick and learning the game. Mm-hmm. And so I knew football. When you play football against a high-end D1 talent, which we did, this Coatesville and the Downing towns in our area had D1 talent all the time. You're like, man, these guys are different. Like, I don't know if I could hang with these guys. Like, they're monsters. Well, I would play against the guys that are going to Notre Dame for lacrosse all the time. And I'd think, man, these guys are nothing. Like, let me show you what I got. And so I was really excited about finding out what I could do. And Marquette was completely untapped, right? We never competed in a game. And so I did.
So you were in inaugural season.
Yeah.
That was your first year was Marquette's inaugural season of lacrosse, of Division I lacrosse.
Yeah, which was really enticing. You could come in and play a major role, and I did.
So was it just freshmen, or did other people transfer, join?
It's a really cool story. In 2012, they recruited a freshman class, and they also brought in a bunch of transfers, but they did not compete that year. I was not on the team that year. They just practiced and lifted every day. Like, they got crushed. But that cultural foundation was critical. So then the next year, my freshman class came in, 25 guys, and those guys had been grinding for a year. And they're like, you guys think you're hot stuff, coming in here. This is how we do things. We work here. And so we worked. We didn't know if we were going to be any good, but we were going to be tough. And I was really excited about the leadership opportunity there as well.
Well, you're a natural born leader. When you stepped in right away, I'm sure you had, whether you played or not, had some sort of leadership role immediately.
I think I've always kind of been a good decision maker, and so in college I came in, didn't really drink at all, wasn't really interested in partying, and was pretty focused. I think that gave me a platform. Like, this guy's pretty dialed in. And, I'm not like a hyper detailed guy. I'm not like waking up 6 a.m. every day, like super organized with a plan. But I didn't do anything that was going to hurt me. I knew if I was going to do anything with this, I had to do everything pretty right. And so I did. And that did give me a platform and an opportunity to be a leader and to help pull my teammates along and try to show them what it took to be successful at this level as I tried to figure it out myself. And we had a handful of guys that were in that same vein and we just kind of pulled the program along under Coach Amplo's leadership in a great environment that is Marquette, and we were able to do some really special things early on.
Did you play the first 2 years for a couple years? How did that transition into, going into your senior year? What did that all look like?
Yeah, I thankfully was able to play every minute of every game from my entire career, and I don't think I would have ever had the playing career I've had if I didn't have that. If I had gotten my foot in the door at a better lacrosse school on paper to start, maybe I wouldn't have played the first couple of years, and maybe I would have played a smaller role later in my career. But by playing every minute of every game against the best schools in the country right away, getting smoked, like I had to learn a lot, and I got to learn a lot. And by the time I was a junior and senior, I had seen and done everything, and so we were really playing with a ton of confidence and edge because we also experienced a ton of butt whooping. So,
did you ended up becoming an All-American?
Yeah. Coach Amplo, by the time my junior year came around, we actually started 7-0, and we were a top 10 team in the country. So 2 years into the program, we had some proof of success, but the third year, 7-0, top 10 team in the country. That's like unheard of, and it was really special. And we thought, sky's the limit. We're going to be chasing this thing. We ended up having a couple hiccups that year, but we ended up 10-6, just outside of the NCAA tournament. So a great year for a third-year program with a tough schedule. And then my senior year, we had a lot of talented guys on the team who wanted to prove some points and make some statements. And Coach Amplo was like, if you want accolades, like you want to be an All-American, like achieve some of your dreams, you need to make sure this team wins. And not that those things were ever primary, but those things are really if you're not motivated by those a little bit, then you're lying.
It's competitive nature of being an athlete. I think anyone who has competitive nature also wants those. Anyone that says they don't is either lying or they have not a competitive single bone or hair on their body.
So we ended up winning the Big East championship our fourth year as a program against the number one team in the country, Denver, who had won the national championship before. They hadn't lost at Peter Barton Stadium, which is their home stadium, in 2 or 3 years at that point. So it was a massive win and such a cool moment that really captured the eyes of the sport. Anyone who followed the sport knew what Marquette was doing and building, and that's credit to the school and the support they put behind the program early on. They didn't start that program there because they wanted to just participate. They wanted to start that program there because they wanted to win, and they supported it like so. And we were able to host an NCAA tournament game in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as the 6th seed against North Carolina 4 years into the program.
That's pretty cool.
Really special, really cool. And we lost that game by 1. They went on to win the national championship. So just short of something like unheard of, but it was an amazing year.
That's really cool. So you go on, you win All-American senior year?
Yep.
Okay. What other accolades did you have?
I'm not a big accolade guy, I played defensive midi, glue guy, teammate, locker room guy. I was a second team All Big East player. There was no slot for my position on the All League, and was an All-American. I had been drafted to play for the New York Lizards.
That's the MLL.
The MLL. And so I knew I was going on to play professionally after my college career. So That was really that was the extent of my accolades, and it was the most important thing to me was we did win the Big East, and we did something that nobody could ever take away from us. And one of the byproducts of that was being an All-American. I still remember when Coach Ampo called me, woke me up one morning, wake up, you piece of shit, or something like that. You're a fucking All-American, and I my chills all over me, just couldn't believe that we had pulled it off. I was a nobody, and he told me, come play for me, we'll make it happen, and we did. And there's so many people along the way that I couldn't have done it without. And
your brother came and played with you, right?
Yeah.
What grade was he when you were a senior?
He was a freshman.
Okay.
And he has a really cool story too. Very similar. Nobody recruited him, and ultimately, he got a slot at Marquette, probably a favor. He was a beast. He was 6'3", 200 pounds as a freshman. A much better lacrosse player than I was, skill-wise. And he came in as a short stick, my position, and for whatever reason, he wasn't really clicking at that position, so they handed him a long pole, which is a 6-foot metal stick. You can have 4 of them on the field at a time, and you just you whack people. They're like, you're going to play this position now. Go run around and practice. And, he had the same chip on his shoulder, point to prove, really hungry and belief in himself that I did. And he graduated an All-American, 3-time first-team Big East player, Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, was a top 2-round draft pick in the pro lacrosse PLL draft. So he was as decorated as it comes, and he didn't get recruited for that position, and that I knew that this environment was one that molded you entirely, holistically, not just as a lacrosse player but as a man. And I wanted my brother to be a part of that experience, and knew that it could do great things for him, and it did great things for us, and we're so grateful for Marquette for all of that.
That's awesome. So you get drafted to MLL.
Yeah.
ML is no more, right?
ML is no more.
Okay. So you go play for the Lizards, New York, right?
Yeah.
How long did you play for them?
That was a really cool experience. The pro lacrosse there's only so many slots, and there's a lot of lacrosse players who graduate who want to play. And it was something that was super important to me. I knew I wanted to be a pro athlete was a dream of mine, and whenever I told people growing up that's what I was going to do. And
you thought you were going to be QB?
Yeah, I thought I was going to be on the Eagles. People, would laugh at you, and but I knew that I could do it. And the Lizards was a particularly unique landing zone because they had the biggest names in the sport. So I was nobody from Marquette again, trying to crack this league, and my team had Paul Rabel, Rob Pinnell, Greg Gorenlian, these names, Drew Adams, Kyle Hartzell. They don't mean anything to you, but these were.
I know some of the names. Give me a little credit. Give me a little credit. Come on.
I mean, lacrosse is growing. These were the who's who of lacrosse. And
before I met you, I didn't know any of those guys.
Very fair. And I'm doing my job, growing the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. We got the Feldman contingent in Naperville area. It's 150. They all know lacrosse now.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my job.
You are. I've been to games now.
Yeah.
I supported the PLL. So I know you definitely have. Even people who never played. After I met you, I bought 4 sticks for Scotty and Matt to beat the crap out of each other in the backyard with.
That sounds like something you would do. It's growing tremendously. Division I talent coming out of Illinois now is everywhere. So we do believe it's the sport of the future. That all of us who have been a part of helping the PLL grow and at the pro game, at the college game, we do believe it's a sport that people are really latching onto and has a bright future in the States. And a lot of people are transitioning from football, the sport we love, to lacrosse because it's a more palatable form of contact. There's not as many big hits with your head, and there's a lot of creative nuances to the sport. So it's an awesome sport to watch. A lot of people, especially in the Midwest, don't grow up too familiar with it, and then they see it and they're like, what the heck is that? And they try it, and
it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So
Like you, I can't shoot. I can catch, but I can't shoot.
I'm still working on all my players make fun of me. It's a tough situation.
So you go to the Lizards.
Yeah, go to the Lizards.
How long were you playing on the Lizards?
Played on the Lizards for 2 years and built some great relationships with some great guys. And like I said, playing pro is really important to me. I didn't know what I was going to do after college, but I knew I was going to spend the summer playing pro and trying to solidify myself on the roster. And my team that just won the 2016 championship for Marquette actually went on a foreign trip. They went to Italy, as like a lot of college teams do. And I actually skipped that trip because I didn't want anyone else taking my roster spot on the Lizards. So I wanted to make a statement how important it was to me. And Coach Spallino on the Lizards gave me that chance, and I'm so grateful for him for that. So played on the Lizards and then got traded to the Hounds, Charlotte Hounds.
Okay.
And then in 18, the first round of USA tryouts was really wrapping up, and things were really changing in the professional lacrosse scene, and Paul Rabel was starting to form a new league. And so a lot of players were then jumping from one league to another.
Did you make the 2018 USA team?
I did not. So shortly after graduation, the player pool kicked up for USA for the 2018 games, and so it's a year and a half, 2 year process at that point because I jumped in kind of halfway, and man, I chased that thing hard. I knew I was a long shot, but coming off of some momentum in college, I chased it hard, and everything I did was trying to help put myself in a position to make that team. I didn't do anything that would hold me back. Maybe eat some candy. I do eat a lot of candy, but
that's my kryptonite.
I was dialed in, and I remember the final tryout was in Florida, and they had us all in the room. You know, they had a training team. We made the men's training team, which was the final 50, and they put names on the board, and they're like, if you see your name, stay in. If you don't see your name, stay in here. So anyone who made the team, their name popped up, and they walked out of the room. So all of us that were cut were there. And, man, to be that close, it was really tough. And at the same time, I was pretty young, and everybody was saying, like, you're young, you get the next one. And because the guys that made the team were veterans, had done their time, never made the team. And at that point, it's just about team building. There's so many guys that could make the team. The coaches are just building the team that they want.
The next one probably felt so far away at that time.
Oh, my gosh. 4 more years. Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So I was like, screw the next one. Like, I want this one, man. So I think one guy got injured, and so the guys got bumped up slots, and I ended up being the alternate for the team, which really doesn't mean anything. But I actually played Team USA versus the MLL All-Stars game. I was with Team USA 2 days before my wedding. And Nikki deserves a gold medal because she has been so patient through my whole playing career. So I got that opportunity. They invited me, and, you know, you want to stay in good graces with the USA system. So, of course, I'm going to do my best and make it clear how important this is to me. So I went to that game, and there was some weather in the Boston area before the wedding, or before my flight after the game. So I was really worried what maybe there was not going to be a wedding if I make it back. I was checking the driving
It'd have been it's just been a big party without you.
Oh, man. But it worked out. So that was the end of USA for then, and the next cycle would pick up maybe a year later, and I was going to make sure I would be ready for that.
So let's rewind a little bit and go to the MLL, kind of what transitioned you. Obviously, you played in the PLL. Talk about the process of the transition. You know, talk about anything of the development of the league, start of it, you know, how things happen, what it looked like. Obviously, there was a lot of shakeup. I'm sure a lot of upset people. Yeah. It shook the sport.
Oh, my gosh.
Tell the story about that a little bit. People that don't know, that didn't experience, or outsiders and didn't really see what's actually going on.
Had to happen. That's for sure. You know, I'd spent 3 years at that point, and so many guys had spent so much more playing in the league, and the games were really tough to find on streaming or TV. Like, nobody really watched. The social media coverage was week. So, anybody who wanted to follow you or the sport at that level,
growing the sport, they're making the tough.
Had to really work.
It tough to grow the sport.
Yeah, you couldn't just stumble upon it at all. Pay was pretty low. I made $6,000 my first couple years and $8,000 my third year. You travel. It's just the weekends in the summer, but it's a lot of travel, and you're essentially losing money at that point. So I remember it was at a USA camp. Paul Rabel, who has done amazing things for the sport. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit. He is a very public figure who has done a visionary, who has done so much. And of course, when you're that public, you can open yourself up to criticism. But I think that anybody who is around the sport should just be grateful to Paul for what he has done. Paul and Mike, his brother, his business partner, who started it. What they have done for the lacrosse players is save the sport.
Yeah, I would say a turning point in the sport. That's really where I started following it. I mean, obviously I followed it because of you.
Exactly.
But then the media behind it and all the publicity behind it, but making it easy to follow the sport. And I didn't follow it until, obviously I knew you, but I didn't follow it until that league came out.
What they did was amazing. They make kids who graduate college want to be pro lacrosse players because they see what you can do. You can be a full-time pro lacrosse player pretty viably now. And that was not something that was realistic when I was coming out of college. So we were at a USA training camp, and Paul said, my brother and I might try this. Who would be in? And there was 50 guys in the room. 50 hands went up. And at that point, we were like, all right,
I guess we're doing it.
This could probably happen. And so instantly, it was a league for the players, by the players, we the players was one of their statements. And they did a ton of work in the background. And I don't know what can be said or can't be said to get in trouble. They have a documentary called Fate of the Sport that tells a lot of the story.
What is it called?
Fate of the Sport. Mm-hmm. That's really good. And the thing that they wanted to do, they wanted to increase pay. They increased pay by 4 or 5 times. And again, it's still just part-time work, and that's an incredible bump and plenty of money to make it well worth your time. They gave anybody who played in games stock options. So we all have stock in the league, and we're vested in the league. They leaned on the players' social media and a lot of the what's the term for grass marketing? What is it?
Edgar, he helps out those marketing words over there.
Guerrilla marketing?
No, grassroots.
Grassroots marketing.
Yeah, grassroots marketing. They did so many great things, and so it was so exciting. And the biggest difference I noticed in my life was everybody that wanted that was connected to me that wanted to follow could see it all the time. They saw the games because they were streamed on ESPN, or at that point NBC, and they saw the highlights because they're all over social media. And people who didn't even know the sport saw the highlights in slow motion because the PLL had invested so much into their content and media, and they had so many talented people behind it working so hard that they were getting that sport now in front of people.
I think Barstool Sports got involved at some point. Erica, right?
Yeah, so they have great relationships probably through Paul's CAA company. They used everything brilliantly, I think, and they just got the sport in front of eyes, and they trusted that if they could just get the sport in front of people, then people would follow, and it would pick up speed. So rather than just sitting in home cities, we traveled the whole league. 8 teams would travel to a city together to put on these big showcases. It was our season, but for that city, it was like, come watch lacrosse at the highest level. So we'd travel to San Francisco, we traveled to Denver, we traveled to Texas, Dallas, we traveled to, you name it, like we're there trying to put on the biggest lacrosse event that state's ever seen. And again, that's where the grassroots come in, building relationships with the clubs and blitzing that market to say, come watch this sport, putting out the highlights like crazy, and just trying to gain as much momentum around it. And it's to this day, it's really grown and developed, and now we're on ESPN and on top 10 plays every week. So it's got a platform that it has the platform to be successful. Now it's kind of up to the players to drive it forward by putting out a great product. And so that's where I say we should be so grateful to the Rabels for what they have done for the players, and the players. Your gratitude is by putting out the best product and doing what the league needs you to do to help grow it, and not having an ego about it, and being flexible and dynamic, because it's all about growing this sport that we love to the level that we hope it can be, where guys can do this full time and make a great living.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys now that I follow, because of you and the PLL. They genuinely want to help grow the league, and they don't have an ego about it, and they know there's nothing in it for them. They're doing this for the future, which I think is really cool. Like, you're seeing a league grow, a sport grow right in front of us right now, and I think that's really cool to see those guys they're not going to get anything from it. They're just helping grow the sport, and I think a lot of ego was taken out of it, and they're humble about it, and I think it's really cool seeing a lot of those guys. Obviously, you post a lot about them, so I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I know I will take a ton of pride in it one day when we're hopefully competing with the main four sports, the core four. And is that what it is? Hockey, lacrosse, or hockey, baseball, basketball, and football. Yeah, I mean, Soccer has done a great job really growing. I think we're trying to chase soccer and what they've been able to do.
I think soccer's the biggest sport in the world, though.
Oh, no, I mean, no doubt. So, yeah, I take a ton of pride in being part of this transition and seeing everything from an inside view of how it happened. Is something I'm super grateful for and learned so much for. And again, that all kind of started because I had played with Paul and the Lizards. Like, I had got to build a relationship with him, and so when we ended up making new teams in the PLL, I got to be on his team and witness a lot of it firsthand.
So you played 9 years. Are we gonna
9 years? What are you asking?
Are we gonna get a 10th?
We are not. Yes, I am retired. Yeah.
Did you officially announce that?
I did. I just did.
Oh, this is breaking news. We are breaking news. So you're officially retiring from the sport.
Yes.
I was pushing you to play a 10th year, just so everyone knows. I was in the background here trying to
I was
just go
ready
one
for
more.
it.
Go one more, man.
I was ready for it.
Can we see a Jordan? Maybe a year off?
No. Like I said, Nikki has been amazing as a teammate. So patient as I traveled all around the country, 50 flights a year, chasing my dreams, playing the sport. And we just had our second kid. So daughter Noah, 3 years old, son Peter, 1, last summer. And it was clear that 2 kids at home when I travel is not quite as easy. So we came to the conclusion as a family that it would be better for me to not play. But
well, congratulations on an awesome career. I mean, obviously you're still involved, but that's awesome. I appreciate breaking that news on here.
Yeah. Top secret.
I wasn't sure. We can edit that out if you want.
No, I don't care. It's definitely been something I've been hanging on to. Like, once it's done, and
yeah,
it's clear that it's the best decision for my family, and so I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Congratulations. So officially retired. Wow. All right. Let's rewind really quick though. So you
hear that? Nobody cares.
I care. It's like the saying goes,
when limping out of the sport.
When someone says, "Do you know how much I leg press?" Nobody cares.
Yeah, same thing.
So, no, that's an awesome career, man. I think you made a difference in the sport in 9 years. Look, you gained about 150 fans just within the family.
Yeah, that's
seriously.
right.
So I want to rewind really quick and talk about Team USA.
Yeah.
So let's talk about when you tried out the last Team USA, and in that sport, just within our family, gained 150 immediate watchers, full time, eyes glued to the TV. I remember, sitting with the Ernstings outside and having parties, just watching play. So, what year did you try out for Team USA that just recently won? What year was that?
World champs, don't forget it. Yeah. It ended up being 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So it's every 4 years. 2018 was the team that I ended up being the alternate on, and so 2022 was the next World Games. And that process, they do events every year with the USA player pool, chopping it, shrinking it down, expanding it, shrinking it down, expanding it, whether you're doing a showcase event versus the former national champions. So whatever college team wins a national championship before, you compete against them in the fall, like the Fall Classic they're called, or whether you and Team Canada play in a game, they call it an exhibition, just a collection of players from each of the country's player pools. Whether it's just a big event where they get together 75 Team USA guys and chop it down. It's just an accordion of small pool, big pool, small pool, and you have to just kind of survive.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a 5-year process. So COVID hit, and it was clear that the games were going to get delayed, and that was a bummer because you talked about how from 18 to 22 felt pretty far away. Well, when 20 came around, you're like, all right, now you're really ramping up the trial process. Let's go. And then the world stops, and you got to extend your training and stay healthy for
Well, it's probably good you extended because you came worked out with me in the basement. I mean, that may have had something to do with you making the team.
Shout out, Jeff. You do have an incredible workout setup, and anytime I'm in town, I'm coming over to your house, shaking your door down. I appreciate it. I'm always late. We always pick a time. I'm always late. Yeah, it's just like an extra year means an extra chance of injuries. It means more players graduating, join the pool. So just a different collection of guys. And so you just have to survive and be at your best and not show poorly really ever. And I remember the final trial was in Orlando, and they had the same experience. They put the whole, like everything I did for 5 years, like Team USA was the top of my mind. Like I was an assistant coach, defensive coordinator at Marquette, and we were chasing championships there. And I thought one of the best things I could do was, as a coach and mentor, was show these guys how important this was to me. I was chasing my dreams, trying to be as fit as I could be and as smart in the game as I could be. And I really did believe it made me a better coach as I chased that. And that it was just the top of my mind. Everything I did. Every time I trained, like Team USA, I felt like if I didn't do a workout or if I slacked off at all, like I wasn't going to make the team. And so in hindsight, I realized whether I'd made the team or not, that process had done so much for me already. But they got us all in the room in Orlando at a hotel. It was around a lacrosse convention. And they said, if you see your name on the board, leave the room. If you don't, stay in. And they put the names up. It was racing around the screen looking to find my name. Saw my name. Thought, that's not my name. Spelled my name. Jakers. I was like, okay, I think that's my name. And I'm not even being dramatic. Like, this is not like for effect. Like, I was really going through this process in my head. Read it again and again. Saw the guys leaving the room. Check their names. Like, that's the group that's leaving. I walked out in the hallway. I started giving hugs like to the guys that had made the team. And I started asking, did you see my name up there? Like, making sure I was in the right area. Like, I was on that list, right? And everybody's kind of having the same experience. So that was really special. And something else that was really special was there was another Marquette guy on that team. So Liam Burns was an All-American my senior year, 16. He and I had gone through this whole process together. Coach Amplo was the defensive coordinator for Team USA, so we definitely had an inside guy. But we got to
you deserved it.
We got to hug each other on the outside. It was super special. And that to me, winning a gold medal, I think, is the expectation. Like, if you play for Team USA, you win gold. That's an expectation in any sport we play. At the Olympics, every sport, you win gold or bust. So making Team USA, I think, is the hardest thing because there's so many great players. They could take anybody They could make 4 independent teams and compete for a world championship. So making that team is really tough. So that moment to me was so special. I was so excited to call my family and Nikki and tell them like everything that we'd been working for.
I'm getting the goosebumps because I kind of remember, Uncle Joe sending out a text like Jake made it.
I could even, it did not sink in for the longest time until it did. And then it was like, all right, we got to win the friggin' championship, which we did. So, man, what a journey.
So you're on the team. Talk about that experience. Talk about, your role in the team. And obviously I'm getting to the article at the end, which I think if you have not read that article about you on Team USA and your leadership, I think you should share that with every team, every player you coach, and any kid you meet, because I think that's an example of what we want on a team, as a player, as a coach, in the employment world. That's who we want people to be, is like you. And I think anybody you meet, you should share that with. That you think so? You think I should shake hands and say, shake hands and be like,
have you seen this?
No, I think anybody that is a player of yours should read
listen
that.
to what I say because of this.
Yeah. It's a really good example of a leader. So tell that story a little bit.
It was that was an amazing article. Matt DeSilva with USA Lacrosse is a great writer, and for him to pull that story out of all the stories that could be written about that team meant a lot to me. Because so Team USA made a priority to take D-middies. So a lot of teams prior had taken 3. Well, this team took 4. So the international game is really slow. There's no shot clock. Now there is moving forward, but there was no shot clock. So teams can hold the ball forever. And if you think about being a D-back, getting dodged again and again and again and again and again, man, like D-middies are so valuable. So they made a push to take 4 of them. So there's 4 of us. And that crew, Danny Logan, Ryan Tarafanko, and Zach Goodrich, I love those guys. That was a really special crew. Those guys, I mean, if you look up best D-middies in the world all time, like those 3 names are up there. Like they're right there. So I was really fortunate to be part of that group, and I was the older guy in the group. Been chasing it for a long time and knowing what it felt like to not make the team. That was important to the USA staff, to get a good collection of young talent who would be there the next round, and guys who had missed out, who it meant the world to, who were gonna not let this thing fail. I was in that crew, old guys who didn't make it before. So I knew my role on that team. Something that I really try to do is get the best out of other people. And when you think about people trying to be their best, a lot of time what's in their way is like confidence. Confidence is like the lamest word ever, because it's like so fake, and guys get stuck on it all the time. I love when I'm in a team environment just talking and expressing myself, and saying great things about the guys around, or maybe making fun of them, giving guys platforms and just pulling them out of their skin. And with USA, it's a crash course, right? Because we don't spend a ton of time together. We have a training camp for 3 or 4 days. We had known each other through the trial process, and then we get on site, and a few days later we're starting the World Games, and you have 10 days, 9 games in 10 days to be great. And if you lose, like, you failed. So we have to mesh really quickly, and so that the coaches do an amazing job. Coach Danowski is the head coach at Duke, Coach Amplo, Coach Toomey, Coach Tierney. They do an amazing job of culture building and giving us opportunities to talk. And then in the in-betweens, it's up to the players to build those relationships and to be vulnerable and to express themselves and challenge each other. And I choose to be more vocal and open when I'm around a team, because it might not naturally be how I am, but I believe that it's going to help other guys get out of their skin and be themselves quicker. So that article is really cool because it highlights the youngest guy who was on the team. Brendan O'Neill was my roommate, and he's like a uber talented, chosen one type player. So he was still in college when he was on Team USA, and he ends up popping off for 3-4 games or 3-4 goals in the championship game against Team Canada, and like, I don't know if we would have won if he didn't like explode that game. Now it's not surprising that he did. The talent on that roster is crazy, and he had the opportunity to step up, and he's uber talented. So I have no credit for it, but the article expresses how rooming with Brendan, I was able to, talk to him a lot and help pull him out of his shell, to help him be comfortable, to have full confidence to be on a roster with decorated pros who had won gold medals before, who have played in the PLL for decades, some of the guys, and go out there and be like, I'm the one to make the play.
So at this time, you're an assistant coach for Marquette.
Yeah.
You're playing in the PLL, and you're on Team USA.
Yeah.
Probably not many guys out there with that resume at that present time.
I love being around a team. I love competing at a high level and trying to be chasing being the best. And I am just so lucky and fortunate and grateful for all the people in my life that got me there, because I was a young kid in high school with like no direction in terms of like athletics. I knew I just wanted to be great, but I didn't have trainers or coaches or lessons. I just tried to win on each team, and the next season came around and tried to win on that team, and to end up in that position, I could have never dreamed it. And
was Noah born at the time?
Noah was 1 year old at the World Championship, and that was really special too.
She was there. I remember seeing, your whole family there,
yeah.
Nikki's whole family there. And, so not only a husband and a father, like you had a lot going on at that time, man.
When you're chasing something like that,
and I don't think you could do it without support, right? Having the right person behind you. Obviously, I do 10,000 things at once, and if I didn't have Kate behind me, like,
dude, amen,
it would be impossible.
Kate,
you got to have the
yeah,
right.
Amen.
She is a saint. You got to have having a team and a leader, and you on that team is important to play that leadership role and to help. And Kate does that for me. Keeping the family together, keeping the home life together. While I'm out with 10,000 different ideas doing, whatever
podcast.
I want. Yeah. So, having that teammate that's there for you in the support system, it takes a village, right? That's, Kate's family is huge, and helping build that village and taking care of our kids. So,
man, absolutely. It's a sacrifice for my whole family. My family on the East Coast didn't see me nearly as much, because I was every weekend in the summer when you get together, I'm busy the entire summer. Never saw me, and they knew. And so what I knew I would just do my best to do my best, because that would make it worth it. The sacrifice that they're making of us not being together. I'm going to make damn sure I'm going to accomplish something with it. Same thing with Nikki and the Barneses. Like, I'm leaving. I married their daughter. Now I leave her every weekend in the summer. Like, that's a pain in the ass. And we got a puppy, and I would leave, and we had a baby, and I still leave. And
but they were all supportive. I could tell that the whole family,
which again, like, fueled my fire. It motivated me. I'm so grateful to not feel that friction. I know it's frustrating at times, but I felt that they loved me, and they wanted to see me realize my dreams and accomplish that something. And so whenever you're chasing something like Team USA, it's about like legacy, and like as a man, you're motivated to like accomplish something that is worthy of a legacy. And eventually you realize like a lot of that stuff doesn't really matter too much, but to have my daughter there in the stands, to go up and kiss her and hug her after winning a gold medal, was really special to me as a father and a husband. To have Nikki right there, that was the first thing I did. I jumped into the stands and gave him a big hug and a kiss. And it's certainly like a selfish endeavor, but in my mind, I felt like I did it for them in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you and I both married into the same family, right? So it's we're both outsiders coming into a very unique family.
Mm-hmm.
You went a total different route than I did. I'm on the entrepreneurship route, and I will say having the support of the entire family, not just the Ernstings. I mean, they've played a huge role in my life, obviously, and helped me get where I'm at. But in the Feldmans and the Barneses, it's so cool and unique how the entire family comes together for me and you outsiders to support us. Like, we're complete outsiders, and they were there supporting us. So I would say they have played a huge role in my life where I'm at, and being supportive all along the way. So.
I mean, they all count on you for everything. I mean, even now I do too. Like, I'm texting you pictures of my basement.
Yeah. Hey, this is broke. What do I do?
But I think in a lot of ways, kind of like my mom played that role in my life, Coach Amplo, and people believing in me. People count on you in this family, and that I think brings out the best version of you, because people are counting on you, and you want to do. You love them, and you want to do right by them, and so. You're going to make sure you're your best. And in a way, I know we express how thankful we are for you, but in a lot of ways, like, that's just keeps fueling your fire and
right.
You chasing greatness and wanting to do great things for the family. It's amazing.
No, thank you. So your daughter's in stands, you win a gold medal. This is what year, 2023?
Yeah.
What happened after that? So they write this article. It's amazing. You're like, I'm going back to play PLL.
Yeah.
You're still an assistant coach at Marquette.
Yep.
Okay. Look, what happened after that? Had to be a lot of publicity, a lot of different talks, things like that.
Hardly. Certainly a sense of pride and accomplishment. I felt like, I wasn't never an all-star, and it was a great validation for my career. I felt like at that point, next thing I wanted to do was win a championship for the PLL. So really chasing that championship with the Atlas, and then ended up switching teams to the Water Dogs. And neither year ended up being too successful. I still love to play and compete, and would be happy to play and compete right now this season. So I don't think I would have ever gotten tired or lost that chip or hunger or drive. Winning a gold medal never really.
You weren't satisfied.
No, I remember it was our anniversary. I think it was a fifth year anniversary, the night before the championship game, and I hadn't had any sweets since like November the prior year, and Nikki was in the area in San Diego, and so I left the dorms and wanted to go out to take her for a walk and go get some ice cream in downtown San Diego in Little Italy the night of our anniversary, night before the game. And I was like, let's go get some ice cream. The whole deal was I wasn't going to have a sweet until we won the championship. And she's like, what? You can't have ice cream. Like, the game's tomorrow. And I was like, no. And this, again, it's going to sound cheesy, but I was like, I'm realizing now that we're at the very end of this process, the game is tomorrow, like, do or die, that I've already won. This process has taught me so much about myself, and chasing this thing and working with people and the patience of loved ones and the sacrifice, everything. Like, I've learned so much, and you've been by my side every step of the way. Whether we win or lose tomorrow isn't going to dictate how I look back at this whole process. Like, I have already won, and so I'm going to celebrate with you, my wife of 5 years. And then we won the championship, and I got to have some more ice cream. So
well, you prepared. You weren't nervous, because you're very good at preparation. I think that's when people do get nervous and they forget or don't prepare. So I think you were okay. You were happy with where you were at.
Well, I had been through everything, and that, like, from starting at Marquette, where we were getting crushed by Duke, Denver, Notre Dame 20-2, to winning a championship at Marquette, to finding my way to solidifying my spot in a pro roster, to then chasing being one of the top D middies in the league, to making Team USA. I had seen everything. So at that point, you're a vet, you're a pro, and you're ready for a game.
And that was last year?
No, that was
2 years ago?
I was looking at 2023. So, Yeah. So the playing career wrapped up. And again, I don't want this to sound like I wasn't focused on my job at Marquette the entire time. But now that I'm transitioning away from playing and the head coach at Marquette, my full focus is, and it always has been, but now that I'm not playing, I'm not competing myself. I want guys to have the same experience that I did, winning championships. Not only that, but having the boldness to be confident and make claims and believe in yourself and say aggressive things and to back it up like that. It's giving my guys the wings to do that is really my goal, because once you say something, as you know, you put it out there, you express it, like you're making it more real and you're holding yourself to that now. So if I say I wanted to be an All-American, then now I got to back it up. Well, I want my guys to have that same experience. I
will say, working out with you, hanging out with you, if I was a player and you're my coach, I'd run through every brick wall for you. Like, I'm serious. Like, so any player that gets to play for you is extremely lucky, and I don't think it's not just the experience in playing lacrosse and the coaching that they get from you. It's the life experience that they're going to get, because what you bring is so much more than just lacrosse. And I've learned a lot from you, just hanging out, working out, how to handle situations. And I think they're going to get that too. It's not just lacrosse. So anyone that does get to play for you, I think is extremely lucky.
Appreciate it.
So last year was your first year as a head coach?
Yes.
Let's talk about that experience. You walk in the doors day one and you say, "Where's my coffee?"
No. Man, it was amazing. I had such a blast. So we had gone through a coaching change at Marquette. Marquette decided to make a change, and at that point I'd been involved in every game of the program's history and had relationships.
Whether player, assistant coach, and now head coach.
Yep. So there was a big wave of support from the alums and the current players, and it meant the world to me. But at that moment I wanted to take a second and really think about what is best for my family, because coaching's a crazy industry. People get fired, and it's a tough industry. You got to move around, and what I know, most important thing to me is my kids, my wife, and building the life that they deserve. Whatever I do to accomplish that doesn't really matter to me, as long as it accomplishes that. Now, if I can find something that I am really fulfilled in along the way, then I hit the lottery. But I didn't want to subject them to anything. I wanted to build my life in Milwaukee, and I wanted to find out how feasible that was with this job. And so I took a few days to talk to mentors, and the president of the university was a man that a hero of mine, really, who recently passed, who I looked up to a whole lot, and spent about an hour on the phone with him, picking his brain about the industry, college athletics, the future of higher education. Like, is this a safe bet? I knew I could be the head coach and have a blast and love it, but I didn't want to make that decision for me. I wanted to make it because it was going to allow me to provide a great life for my family. So I took some time, had some conversations with Nikki and some mentors, and realized that yes, like, you can do this, build a great life through this industry, and you don't have to move around and chase things the way other people do. Like, you can stay at one school and be successful, and so Marquette is where I want to be. If Notre Dame called me tomorrow, I wouldn't be interested. Not that they would, but I want to win at Marquette. So being the head coach was a blast. And I am so excited for the future of that school. Marquette is a special place. I think when I took the job, it was building the vision of my vision for the program, which is I believe it should be a leadership factory. I think there's so much about Marquette, Milwaukee that makes it a great environment, and playing lacrosse at Marquette, a great environment to develop young men. You have the city aspect, so there's a ton of opportunities to be engaged with all different types of people and around all different cultures. And you're at
opportunities.
Yep, you're at a Jesuit institution, so service is paramount. It's in the blood of the school. Marquette's actually the #1 school for community service in the country, and it's not a required piece of the school at all. The lacrosse program has a platform there. They care about it. They support it tremendously. They want to compete at the highest level, and you put all that together. It's a medium-sized school with a smaller athletic department with a national brand. Like, all those things, I think, create an environment where young men with chips on their shoulders, the way I had, my brother had, can come in here and make the most of it and just take in all the things that place has to offer and come out the other side a great man. So certainly we're chasing greatness on the field, trying to be the best team we can be, and really trying to develop young men to be great husbands and fathers one day. And what I always say is when they hit adversity in their life, whatever it is, whenever it is, I just want them to know that if they can face that adversity head on with full confidence that they are ready for it, then I had done my job.
I'm confident you'll prepare these players, student athletes, for that. I'm extremely confident in
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Any player that goes and plays for you, like I said before, is extremely lucky. They're not just going to learn lacrosse. They're going to learn a lot about life. And when lacrosse is over, whether it's after college or after, playing on Team USA or professionally, they are going to be ready for life. It's not just the short, you had a very long career, I think, in lacrosse, 10 years professionally. They're going to be prepared afterwards. So in their 30s and after, professional career, in relationships, whether it's marriage or friendship, I fully believe you'll prepare them for that. And I emulate a lot of things that you do, and I've learned a lot from you. So I think those young players will too.
I think you're being too nice.
No, I'm serious, man. I talk to my father-in-law about it all the time. I'm like, man, I wish I had his attitude all the time. Because we're like, he is, every time you come say something, it's like, man, he's got it together.
I appreciate it. No, I think I'm really trying not to be coachy. Coaches get jobs and they throw up these acronyms everywhere, and there's so many books on personal development, and I think those things are handy. They help put things logically, they help make things repeatable, and I think they are good. But I don't think that's the core of what you do. And I think that everyone that works in this space is on the same mission. Everybody would say that if you talk to any college coach, they would be saying the same thing. We're developing young men, want them to make great leaders, want them to be great husbands and fathers. It's like how authentically you do it and how consistently you do it. Like if you show a crack to the guys, if you are not yourself, if you are inconsistent with like your standards, man, there's no group better at sniffing out bullshit than a 21-year-old group of guys. Like, you show any crack of like not being yourself or anything, they're gonna be like, you're a fraud. Like, I'm not following you. But if you show up every day, just who you are, not trying to be anybody else, and you're consistent and you show them you care, and you get to know them, and then you challenge them, and you don't let them off the hook ever, then like you become someone that really influences their life. And the challenge of coaching is like, you can't ever stop. Culture is not like a thing that you like put in place and then like it's set. Every single day, culture has to be managed because standards slip. What you accept then becomes, you allow it to grow.
The lowest thing you're willing to accept becomes your standard.
Exactly. And so it is an everyday effort, and you want to form guys around you that can follow through on those things. So I'm not doing anything that's like particularly unique. I'm just trying to be great, be my best every day, and be great for the guys around me, because I want Marquette to be great. I want us to win at the highest level.
All right, so you talked about why Marquette is so great. You guys are involved in service. You're involved in helping the community. You're a big part of things. Tell me a little bit about that. What makes Marquette so great?
Man, I love service, and it will be core to what we do as a program for as long as I'm involved. because I love anything that reminds our guys that it is not about you, right? And just like when you're a team member on a team, it's not about you, it's about the team. Well, there's no better environment to learn, to realize that, guys coming from all different backgrounds, maybe they've never been around different kind of people, and maybe they've never served anybody, putting them in that environment and then commanding that they are engaging and leaders in that environment, they just learn so much about themselves. And again, remember, it's not about you at all. So when guys, there's always those great guys on a team. I need 10 volunteers tonight. We got practice for our wheelchair team. There's always those 10 guys. Well, you guys have done enough. You can come if you want. But where are those guys that are hiding in our room, who aren't comfortable with the idea, who think that they're too busy, who just don't want to? Nobody really wants to give up 2 hours of their night when they got studying and early morning practice the next day. Well, thank you for your volunteering. You're going to be there and you're going to do a great job. I can't wait to see you. So wheelchair lacrosse is we do two service projects year round and I'm big on sustainable, long-term, relationship, community type building things, not go clean up trash on the side for a day. Now, if those things happen, we're happy to participate, all in for anything. But what we are taking most pride in is the relationship building, community building. So we do inner city lacrosse with a school that's adjacent to Marquette's campus. We run clinics there. Really what we do is we go during their gym time and sometimes play lacrosse, but a lot of times just hang out with them. We do that 2 or 3 days a week, depending on the fall and kind of how our schedule falls. And then we do a wheelchair lacrosse team, which I would encourage any athlete ever in their community to get involved with adaptive sports. Adaptive sports are amazing. The community that adaptive sports builds is second to none. The family, the way they look out for each other is amazing. And then the people that you'll be around are just amazing. So Dr. Lee, Kenneth Lee, he was a Army veteran. I believe he's Army. Is the president of WASA, Wisconsin Adaptive Sports Association. Brought wheelchair lacrosse to Marquette's campus when I was a player. So I started coaching the team as a player 10 years ago or whenever it was. I'm getting old. So that group was comprised. We're actually the Milwaukee Eagles is comprised of the highest percentage of veterans of all the wheelchair lacrosse teams nationwide. So we're super proud of that. Guys from all different branches: Coast Guard, Navy, Army, Marines. Our Marines are badass. They're awesome. So we're super proud of that. But we started the sport there, and I remember going to the practices when I was a player. Oh my gosh. When lacrosse is bad, it's bad. Nobody can pick up the ball. It's just rolling around. Man, they were bad. They couldn't connect 2 passes. Really, everyone was just going to practice, getting in chairs and running into each other. Really tough. Well, if you came to a practice today, and we have done it every year since, we'll just call it 2014 when I was an athlete. If you come to a practice today, you will be amazed at the skill level. We have had this. One of the best stories is his name is Marco Krenz. He's just a Milwaukee kid, born with spina bifida, who was into adaptive sports, plays wheelchair basketball, saw lacrosse when we started it there, and was like, I want to try this. He loves being around our guys. And so he's like, I'm going to be great at this thing. Well, since then, he is now 3 or 4-time MVP of the national tournament. He's been on the cover of USA Lacrosse magazine. And he comes to all of our games and is beloved by every single one of our athletes at Marquette. He is amazing. Now he's coaching a high school team in the area. The best dude. One of the great stories. So, but anyway, you come to our practice and the ball is zipping around. These players are making plays that our guys can't make on our college team. And we won national championship in 2023. 2023. We won the national championship in 2024. And now, a month from now, we're competing for our back-to-back-to-back national championship try in Pittsburgh. And our team is hungry. I mean, they take it seriously. So we coach the team once a week. We hosted on Marquette's campus, and there's a gym that actually was the gym that Dwayne Wade used to practice in when he went to school. Now it's like the old gym, and we do wheelchair lacrosse practice there once a week from February all the way through August. And our players coach the team, our staff coaches the team, and it is just an amazing community. Even guys that graduate, that go on to get jobs and all different parts of the country will come back to watch these tournaments because they love the wheelchair lacrosse players and the relationships that they've built. So it is something we are super proud of, and something that if you ever get the chance to get involved in adaptive sports, I think it works wonders for people. You know how much we've learned from competing in sports. People who have injuries or disabilities might think maybe sports aren't for me. Well, that's not true at all. Let me show you the list of sports that you can compete in. And when you get those people in the sport, they get to receive all the fruits that sports bring you, from teamwork, hard work, dedication, just having fun, like forgetting about crap. Man, it's so special.
That's awesome. So wheelchair lacrosse league going for three-peat.
Three-peat, dude. It's big time. Who would have thought that the best wheelchair lacrosse team in the world is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? They didn't even have a Division I team in Wisconsin 13 years ago. But now we got the best wheelchair team in the world.
That's awesome. Let's go. That's pretty sweet. For the past 10 to 12 years that I've known you, since the first day I met you, I don't know if you remember, the first day I met you, we were opening up the pool, and you and I had the job of putting the cover in the shed.
If you've noticed, I haven't been around for a pool opening.
Well, it's fair. You don't live around here, right? So it's okay.
Convenient.
Yeah. So you have been the same exact person when you go into consistency since the day I met you. There has not been a day I'm like, man, he seems off. Nice. You have been, every workout, every time we got together, cookout, any family function, every wedding, it's like, yep, still the same person. So, and that speaks volumes on what you're trying to teach kids is consistency, and they're going to sniff out the bullshit. I think you bring it. And if I wasn't a parent that was searching for schools for my kid and I met you, or if there's anything I can tell a parent, like, this is who you want your kid around, I'm telling you.
Yeah, come to Marquette. That's right.
You're the guy that, you want your daughters to marry. That's who you are.
Oh my goodness.
If I have a child that is going to play lacrosse, I hope you're still coaching.
I'll be around. You will have a child that plays lacrosse. I'll make sure of it. I think that the challenge I have for our guys is and what I try to do, and I think what you're speaking to is being an everyday guy. Again, not an original thought, not necessarily something that I like. It's not necessarily something I think about, but I think what I take pride in is how you feel does not matter. As you know, you have employees, you have your kids, your wife, people are counting on you, the family.
My employees' families. Yeah, it's a lot.
How you feel does not matter at all. And so when it's 6 a.m. on a Thursday and we have a dog of a lift, and I see guys who are sad to be there, fuck you. Like, they are fucked.
I wish I could get up at 5 a.m. to go for a lift again with the team. I miss those.
No doubt. It's not even about whether you miss it or not. It's like, if you are a good teammate, you know it is not about you in that moment, not about how you feel. Fuck your feelings. Like, you have guys, you have a job to do, and that is to bring your best, to bring the best out of the people around you.
To make them better.
And if you can show, and to, like, behave according to your principles. Like, what? I don't care that you don't want to be here. Do you want to be great at this sport? Well, then you got to work out to do. Do you want to be dependable? Do you want to be consistent? Do you want to be someone that people look up to? Like, if you agree to those things, when you're feeling your best, if you can think about it and write it down, you're like, that's who I want to be. Well, then who you are at that lift at 6 a.m. on Thursday is all that matters. Because if people see you at that moment being a bum, slacking, like feeling sorry for yourself, then they're not going to care at all about what you say. Like, they're not going to have any interest because you're a fair weather fan. You're there when you're great. You're great when you're great. And when you don't feel like it, you don't show up. And those, as you know in business, those are not the people that you depend on.
No. And I already worked out this morning, but I'm ready to go work out again after that.
I made sure to get it in too. I was dying. I was hurting. I've been lifting a little too much, so running was not good for me.
At least you got a workout in. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing the stories, being vulnerable, and I will say anyone that gets to come play for you is extremely lucky, and they will learn a lot of life lessons, and they'll be prepared in life for anything that they have. So appreciate you coming on, and good luck this season.
Oh, Jeff, thank you. You're the best.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.